The weather outside is frightful.
I don't like the white stuff. It's pretty, but I don't like it. It's cold.
A freak Halloween snowstorm cuts off power to millions and cancels trick-or-treating for kids. And that storm creates a nightmare on the tarmac.
I have a paraplegic on board that needs to come off. I have a diabetic on here that's got an issue. It's a list of things. I just got to get some help.
The Halloween candy for parents to avoid, why black licorice could lead to major health problems. And the world reaches a major milestone today, how the birth of just one baby made that happen. Your Independent News Network starts right now. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mike Mickle. Welcome to INN News and welcome to Snowtober. A freak snowstorm that hit the Northeast has left at least 12 dead and millions without power tonight. Although the storm is over, the folks who live there and travelers are still feeling the brunt of this Halloween weekend whiteout. Shelby Lynn begins our team coverage.
Scraping snow off your windshield is not a familiar sight for most in October. An unexpected snowstorm pushed its way through the Northeast Saturday. The whiteout brought more than 1 foot of snow in some areas, and governors of 4 states issued emergency declarations. Some travelers, like these hundreds of passengers on a train from Rochester, New York to Boston, were stranded for hours. Other families were stranded in their hometowns.
A lot of trees coming down, a lot of branches breaking, power lines are disrupted for sure.
After knocking out power to millions in the Northeast, the storm made its exit Sunday. Emergency crews are now working to repair downed power lines and trees, which could take a while.
I'd say probably Wednesday. Yeah, we got a lot of crews coming in from other areas.
Some residents weren't a fan of the early snow surprise.
I don't like the white stuff. It's pretty, but I don't like it. It's cold.
But for others, the Halloween weekend storm was more of a treat than a trick.
It's unexpected, but it's almost actually a little bit of a treat too.
Well, nearly 3 feet of snow fell in parts of Massachusetts. Ashburnham was one of the town's hardest hit. Srabani Banerjee reports on how people are handling the mess on Halloween.
A winter blast before Halloween, Ashburnham under more than 20 inches of snow. Crews out overnight trying to get the roads clear.
The roads are they're slick, it's heavy. It was nonstop all night until about 3 a.m.
A surreal scene of orange lights and ghosts and ghouls pitted against a winter wonderland. A pumpkins for sale sign under snow. A sure sign trick-or-treating will definitely be different this year.
We'll take them out. We'll bundle them all up.
We're excited, actually. As you said, one's an Eskimo, one's a geisha, so we'll have to bundle up the geisha, but the Eskimo is good to go.
Overnight damage is extensive, from Westford to Chelmsford all the way to Ashburnham. Widespread power outages statewide are causing problems and making it easy to get frustrated. But kids help keep things light. 1, 2, 3, down we go.
Wow, and take a look at this time-lapse video from Oak Ridge, New Jersey. A man who lives there set up a camera to take one photo every minute between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. on Saturday. Just watch the snow pile up. The sad news about all this Halloween snow, many cities in the Northeast have canceled trick-or-treating for tonight. Now to that nightmare on a tarmac where a trip from Florida took a turn for the worse. Passengers on a JetBlue plane were on their way to Newark, but the winter storm forced a detour to Connecticut. Now, if that wasn't bad enough, they were stuck on the tarmac for more than 8 hours with no food and no working bathrooms. Passengers and even the flight captain were upset.
Look, we can't seem to get any help from our own company. I apologize for this, but is there any way you can get a tug and a tow bar out here to us and get us towed somewhere to a gate or something? I don't care. Take us anywhere.
It was a nightmare. Nobody wants to be stuck on board a plane without, water eventually and without access to a bathroom. The bathrooms were getting nasty.
JetBlue apologized, saying recurring power outages at the already overwhelmed airport made refueling and deplaning impossible. In your vote 2012, presidential hopeful Herman Cain under fire over sexual harassment accusations. Politico reports during Cain's time as the restaurant industry's chief lobbyist, at least 2 women complained of sexually suggestive behavior. Both women reportedly left the association with payouts in the 5 figures and agreed not to talk about it. Cain denies the allegations.
I'm not going to comment about 2 people that you won't tell me who they are. Okay, that's like negotiating.
Thanks. Last question.
Have you ever been accused of sexual harassment?
The revelations are the first serious setback for Kaine at a time when some polls show him leading the race for the Republican nomination. In fact, the latest poll out of Iowa, a key battleground state, has Kaine in the lead. The Des Moines Register reports Kaine has 23% support. Mitt Romney's right on his tail with 22%. The other contenders trail 10% points or more. Now, the world population has hit 7 billion today. The Earth's population grew by 1 billion people in the last 12 years. It's quite a bit considering it took until the early 1800s just for the population to reach its first billion. Just to get an idea of just how big 7 billion really is, to count that high, it would take more than 30 years, and 7 billion seconds ago, the year was 1789. Flooding in Thailand has led to a flood of people at this airport. Bangkok residents and tourists are leaving the flooded area. The mass exodus of people is leading to very long lines. The main 2 discount airlines there have seen a 10% increase every day. They had to bring in extra people to keep up. A U.S. Airways flight attendant was found dead in his hotel room in Mexico City. It happened Saturday morning. Authorities identified the victim as Nick Aronson. Investigators now say his body indicates he had been struck several times. Officials don't think there was a security breach at the hotel. A Russian spacecraft blasted off yesterday and is carrying more than 2 tons of supplies to the International Space Station. Among the supplies, clothing, water, and food, and new cell structures for onboard biotechnological experiments. The rocket is set to arrive on Wednesday. Progress is set to reach the docking module of the ISS on November 2nd. And that's your Global News Now. Well, Halloween is a scary time in more ways than one. Police agencies all over the country, including East Alabama, are checking on registered sex offenders. Christina Chambers shows us how they prepared.
It's something this couple says they're not worried about when it comes time to taking the kids trick-or-treating.
You know, just long as all the parents stay with their kids and whoever the youngest that they taking trick-or-treating, and long as have, you know, the law enforcement riding around, you know, making sure don't too much go wrong or nothing go wrong like that. I believe this Halloween trick-or-treating gonna go pretty fine.
Lee County Sheriff Jay Jones says registered sex offenders in Lee County have to check in with the sheriff's office at least 4 times a year.
We do offer advice, of course, to parents that are going to take their youngsters out for trick-or-treating, and that, of course, is just common sense and just being nearby.
Sheriff Jay Jones says they monitor 180 registered sex offenders throughout Lee County. He says so far they've had no reported incidents associated on Halloween.
Obviously, it would stand to reason there is a potential there, but to date we have not had an incident of the nature associated with Halloween.
Although Jones says the department isn't doing anything special to check on sex offenders during Halloween, he says they're constantly being monitored.
We have a service that we provide to the public that allows them to identify and locate individuals that have been convicted of offenses of sexual nature.
As for Takesha Shiver, she says she'll be hand in hand with her daughter and double checking her candy.
Get the candy from out the bag and just spread it all over the floor and just check every piece to make sure every piece is wrapped up and it looks edible to eat.
Christina Chambers reporting for INN News.
Lee County has 390 sex offenders in the database. Sheriff Jones says that includes ones who are deceased, in jail, as well as those living in the community. Well, there's still plenty more to come on INN. Why some of you may not need to bank on debit card fees. And a great way to burn off some Thanksgiving turkey, shopping. Which stores are getting a jump on Black Friday? And why black licorice may lead to some serious health problems. Who's being told to be careful? Coming up when INN continues.